Yo, we got the gang up in here now. Hey, it's NBA Central. We here with the squad. We got Bobby Valentino, Kev, C Dub, and yeah, one of your hosts here, Steve O. Hey man, the legend has spoken. Our doctor, the doc, has spoken, and he's talking a little bit on superstars, them moving around, and basically we getting the temperature of how he feeling. I think we all know how he going, but then he take a little dig at KD that I want to get into. But y'all gotta hear that music first.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
We've been saying a lot of movement been going on. Every other year, it's a superstar on the move, and it's always been a topic of is it good for the NBA? And that's what was asked on a podcast to Dr. J. They asked him what was his thoughts, basically on the Damian Lillard situation, kind of, and just in general, players moving around and at the age they are. But I got a clip here first that I want to hear. I ain't just want to say it. I want to hear it straight from the doctor's mouth. So y'all bear with me. It's zoomed in like a mug, but y'all can hear though.
These guys, since the prisoners are running the show and not the warden,
Wait.
they just decide.
What does that mean?
It just where a star player on the team is like, screw this city and all that support that they've given me, and I'm going south. I'm going to Florida, or I'm going to LA, or I'm going to Texas, or I'm going somewhere else. So, these decisions, and they're business decisions.
Right.
I understand.
Right.
Or whatever, but they have not helped the game. They have not helped to keep the parity within the game. You build these super teams.
So the hot topic right now is Damian Lillard going to the Heat. Dame has never hopped around. He's proven his loyalty to Portland, and they just haven't been able to provide the right team for him to compete anymore. So are you against that move?
Well, wherever he goes, he probably will finish his career because of his age and the fact that he's played 12, 13 years, and he wants to have a chance at winning the championship.
Right.
And he doesn't think he can get it there.
Right.
So that's a good reason.
Yes.
For him. But a guy 26 or 27
Hopping
just
around.
wanting to hop around. Look at how many times Durant has hopped around. No, for real. OKC to Golden State to where do you go after that? Now he's in Phoenix.
So you don't respect that?
He did that.
Hey, like I said, I wanted to hear you straight out the doctor's mouth because he let the lay of the land. He let it know how he felt. So first, I want to go to Kev on this one. So what is your response to what he said in this podcast? Can't hear you, Kev.
I have myself on mute, my bad. But first of all due respect to the doctor, man. One of the first athletic players to come through the league. He was dunking from the free throw line.
He's talking about one of the first. The other one was plumbers and electricians.
Up and unders, but he brought flair. Him, Elgin Baylor, so on and so forth. Which is why he got Elgin Baylor in his top 10. If we talk about that, I think we should. That'd be dope. But
Okay.
But I feel like this, man. I didn't agree with the analogy he made with the prisoners running the show. I don't like that at all. In terms of the warden, instead of the warden, the prisoners run the show instead of the warden. I don't like that because this league, it's a players' league, and I respect that. I respect the fact that players can take control of their destinies and go wherever they want to go, especially when we've seen players in their primes be traded from teams, and it wasn't about loyalty then. I'm one of those people that's like, oh, okay, it's loyalty only matters when it's the player as opposed to the actual organization. The organizations don't care about loyalty. They'll trade you. We see it in football right now where running backs can't get a contract no matter what they've done for this organization. So I can't agree with the doctor on this one. Now, I will say that another thing that I didn't agree with him was he talked about parity. Last season was the first season that a team that wasn't from Texas or California made it to the finals. in the Western Conference in 20 plus years. The Denver Nuggets was the first non-California, non-Texas team to make it to the finals. And you talking about parity. So no, I can't really agree with that, but I get where he coming from. Like, hey, he stayed with the Sixers. He was in the ABA first. He stayed with the Sixers his whole career. I can respect that. But at the end of the day, the NBA don't care about no doggone loyalty in terms of how they deal with players. So I don't expect players to do the same thing, but that's just me.
Expect that repeat. Bobby?
Me personally, I'm looking at it like this, man. From what I grew up and I watched it, y'all already know I'm still a young whooper snapper. Not that young, but still got a little snapper. You feel me? But but I look at players that's in the league right now who did some shady shit and then I didn't really like. I agree with you, Kev. I did not like the analogy. Analogy was horrible. Don't call these guys prisoners and these owners wardens.
Yeah.
That's not good. He should have just referred to them exactly to what they are, the players and the owners, and we'd have been just fine. But the point I get is that these guys, in my opinion, over the last few years are hurting the game. Ben Simmons, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant a little bit, Kyrie Irving a little bit, Anthony Davis, maybe a little bit. But the first two players, they really, really are hurting the game. Like, and I understand the loyalty part of the thing, you know what I'm saying? But I believe it's just the way that you go about your business. Simply because James Harden gained weight on purpose, went out and played a few games on purpose and was trash on purpose to get moved. That's not an example that I go out as a coach. When I go coach my youth football league, is to go out here and be egotistical and, you know what I'm saying, cheat the game. Don't cheat the game, bro. But it's a two-sided thing with me in the last point right here. I understand when it comes down to the loyalty thing, but the tough part is that it's business. But at the end of the day, these guys got to go ahead and protect the future, just like the people from the past help these guys make $60 million a year. Most of them guys back then wasn't even seeing nothing near that in career earnings.
Desmond Bain made more in his first contract than Jordan ever has.
It's crazy. But go ahead, you up next.
I definitely got a third that motion on the poor choice of words by calling these young guys the prisoners and the guys warden. That's crazy. He do sound like he a little bit under the influence of alcohol, though. I'm gonna give him that. When it comes to giving the players more power and they making moves and making the league less competitive, it is what it is now. I think you can never change it back. I think these guys want to play where they want to play and give them the best chance to win an NBA championship. So, to be honest, I don't like it. I like parity. I like a different team coming up and being a factor in the NBA, like a OKC coming up and being good enough to probably win a championship. But you'll probably never see that. It's always going to be one of those power teams coming in and that stack their team. But I had to get into Kevin Durant. I hate that he used Kevin Durant first. You got to go with LeBron James first, bro.
Oh, my God.
LeBron James started this, stacked this team. I mean, damn. LeBron stacked his team. Kevin Durant, being a competitor that he is, he cannot win against a player that's stacking his team like that. How about let me stack myself now with the Golden State Warriors? So do as they do or get your ass left. So that's what he did. He did what others do, and he won. And people mad because he won a championship.
I can't hear Steve-O. I gotta hear this.
First of all, I'm gonna be honest. I'm bugging against all that. Maybe the base of the analogy was 100% correct to me. Maybe he could have used another one, but to me, they never was like maybe early in the 80s, 70s, and the 60s they was like that. But once we got to the 90s, because the NBA ownership was kind of like the NFL. They completely flipped that. They're nowhere near like what the NFL is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a prison or warden, literally. So they have so much control now that they're shaping what the NBA is going to be. I think what he's talking about with parity is because you have people like KD that didn't do what LeBron do. It's not the same. You know why it's not the same? because the Heat wasn't winning. The Heat didn't make the playoffs. Golden State was in the finals. Golden State won the finals. And you was up 3-1, and you let them win three straight games. And you twiddle your stick self there, act like it was no problem. And you completely flipped the whole league for 4 straight years, and we knew exactly what the final outcome was going to be. That's what I feel like he's saying. It's not that, yeah, the parody just flipped back on now. It literally just flipped. And it took Kawhi, and I'll give credit to Kawhi and Paul George for starting to flip that when they went to the Clippers. It wasn't going to State. It wasn't all Golden State because of that now. And then once that happened, everybody else started blossoming up. The Heat came up. Boston came up. Everybody came up. That's when the parity, because the parity was jacked up because of situations of KD. If you want to talk about super teams, it wasn't LeBron that started first. It's somebody named Greg Popovich.
What super team Greg Popovich started?
Yeah, well, if you want to say that, maybe not Greg Popovich, but Boston. I'll say Boston definitely started it if you want to go that way.
That was them.
Well, it's well documented though that it's well documented that Boston team, most of those guys were not necessarily in their last leg, but they were past their prime.
Yes, perfect.
And KG was more of a Damian Lillard situation where he was wasting away in Minnesota, stayed there past his prime, and decided to team up with players. But the reality is,
they weren't 34 though. They was mid prime.
Yeah, they were past their prime, man. Like,
listen, 31, 32. That's mid prime.
But we're not talking about Kawhi. We're not talking about LeBron James, Chris Bosh, D Wade, all in their mid-20s, deciding to team up.
They was not in their mid-20s though.
Yes, they were, bro.
Okay, LeBron was 20. LeBron was 27. Chris Bosh was 27, and D Wade was pushing 30. Versus 28, 26, 26, and Golden State. I'm talking about 26. Draymond was 26. Clay was 26. KD was 26.
But I wasn't talking about the Golden State team. I was talking about the Boston team. And then we got the LeBron squad, the Miami team. That happened before KD. Now, if we're talking about what started the trend with this generation, LeBron and them probably looked at that Boston situation, was like, hey, we don't want to get that much older before we decide to go and get our championships. Let's do it now. So that's the difference between what Boston did and what Miami did. And then KD just kind of followed suit. And now you have everybody forcing their way out. But in the end of the day, for me, like I said earlier, I stand on the same point. I don't fault the players for doing stuff like that, because you got a lot of Hall of Famers. We got a lot of Hall of Famers who just decided to stay loyal to teams that didn't care about winning. And the same thing will happen. The same thing could happen to, like, let's say, Zach LaVine. If he decided to stay loyal to the Bulls, he'll end up on a team that the ownership don't really care about winning. All they want to do is sell tickets. So it's like, well, what are you going to do? Do you want to win a championship, or do you want to stay loyal to this franchise who will trade you at a drop of a hat if the right offer came along?
But can we agree that context matters, though?
Of course.
Because, like, when you look at LeBron's situation, because I did disagree when he was like 28, 26. I said, okay, but if you're going to say that, you got to put context behind it. LeBron was at the end of his rope when it came to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He asked for help for 8 straight years, and they didn't give it to him. So he's like, I'm going to make my own team. That's reasonable over somebody that is that's literally fighting to get into the finals, was a step away from going to the finals, and then you just join the finals team. You can flip. It's like, even if you want to say, yeah, he started a super team, the balance wasn't that huge. They still lost more times than they won as a Heat. You can't say that for Golden State. And that's what I realize. I think he's really shifting. That's where the parity shift.
Yeah, I think like you said earlier, though, the parity did start to come back into the league, because if you look at the teams that's around right now, you got, well, at least I believe it's shifting back towards that Golden State thing, especially because you got Brad Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. So I kind of feel Dr. J why he, is pushing on Kevin Durant a little bit, because but he still did the best thing. It's his decision. But at the same time, I don't like it simply because I feel like he could have stuck that shit out a little bit longer in Brooklyn, been in an easier conference. Probably, bro, you can't tell me that Kevin Durant is not better than Jason Tatum or the guys in Miami who a lot of people keep picking to go to the finals. Kevin Durant, he could have done something different. And I just think that the way I look at it, look, it's his decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, why you got to keep jumping ship? You are one of the greatest scorers in this league, bro. Let's put it on wax and let's see what you can do.
And I would return that to say, why not jump ship? You one of the greatest players to do it. Why not?
Go ahead.
Because why not?
Because okay, I got a question for you. If his foot not on that line, you had him going to the finals that year.
I haven't win in the finals, yes.
Exactly. So why not come back and do it again?
The reason
or try it again.
And my team, but go ahead.
You mean that Brooklyn team?
Brooklyn team.
Yeah, Brooklyn team was destroyed. Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I don't too much blame him on that Brooklyn side. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't too much blame him on that Brooklyn side. He was to me, it was almost like LeBron. He had his end of his rope with that. But to retort to that, I feel like when it comes to that, we talking about career success at this point. And I've made it statement. KD, as long as he try to fake it, he says it in his words in so many words. I want to be that guy. One of the most famous quotes he said, I'm tired of being labeled as number 2. I was number 2 in the draft. I was number 2 behind LeBron. I want to be a number 1. So did you honestly think we're going, fans and people and your peers around was going to look at you as a number 1 jumping ship to a final winning team where you could have went to San Antonio, you could have went to Boston, you could have went to the Heat, you could have went to the Clippers. You did not have to go to an already made team. Especially the team that just whooped your ass 3 straight times when you only had to win 1 game.
Yeah,
LeBron didn't sit there and go to Boston. He said, I'm going to the Heat. I'm going to beat y'all ass. That's what he said. I'm not finna join you. And even with, I give Bradley Beal a little leeway because me personally, I wouldn't went to the Suns because not because of not how I look. I went to the Suns because I don't know how I fit. But him going to the Suns, go ahead. You was in purgatory, bro. You 20, you finna be 30. Yeah. Go ahead.
I just want to take the circumstances out. Just take the forget that he lost 3-1. Forget that LeBron was at his end of his rope in Cleveland. Both situations is the same exact thing to me. It's the same thing. You stacked your team. All 3 of those players were top 10 players at that certain time in the Miami Heat. All 3. There was not 3 top 10 players in Golden State. It was only 2 top 5. Clay not a top 10.
We had 4. They was an All-Star game. All of them said All-Star game.
At that time, Clay was definitely one of the top 5 shooting guards. But I also say this, man, for Bulls fans in particular, we would have accepted those championships that if LeBron had come to Chicago, which it was a very real possibility. That's if him reasonable. And D-Wade, we wouldn't be sitting here saying nothing about stacked teams.
Because that's reasonable, though.
We would be sitting here celebrating the rings they brought to Chicago. So, like, I can't really ride with that whole I mean, like, I get it. I get where you're coming from, C-Dub. I get where you're coming from.
Derrick Rose, LeBron James, and Dwayne Wade, that's overkill.
That ain't Steph Curry. That ain't the greatest.
Oh my God, that's an MVP, Derrick Rose.
Yeah, that's nice and all, but that's not 2 of the greatest shooters I've ever seen in my life.
It's not. Bro. But at the same time,
that's all I'm saying.
At the same time, all I'm saying is just keep the same energy that we would have had.
But it's not the same energy, Kev.
If Miami was stacked, then the Bulls would have been stacked. That's all I'm saying.
As a kid, I felt like they was a super team. As I grew up, I understood what it was. Yes, it was a super team to a degree, but there is no other super team to rival a healthy Golden State.
Nah, that's why they got the best record of all time, best regular season.
And that's my whole point. That's why we can't just leave stuff out. You got in sports, you can't just leave context
you gotta
out.
Provide
wait. That's without KD 73 wins. What are you talking about?
Mike, you're making my point. What are you going there for?
Bro,
why are you going there?
So why KD? I see what
you're off coming MVP. You're arguably people were saying they weren't even saying LeBron at the time in 2015. KD was the best player in the world. And then you go join the best team in the world when you already have a good team. It's not the same versus Cleveland. Cleveland was trash. That's why he left. Thunder was not trash.
I'm gonna push back on Cleveland. Wasn't trash. They stayed going to the finals too. They were not
because
trash.
of LeBron.
He had all-star players too.
They
Mo
went
Williams,
there one time,
Ilgauskas made
Ilgauskas was the only. Ilgauskas was the only one that was the all-star.
No, Mo Williams was an all-star as well.
When?
Oh, look it up. You can look it up if you want to. He was an all-star as well.
But my point is, you know why they was all-star? Because of LeBron.
Yeah, but they wasn't garbage. Why everybody
They not
he had
garbage
team?
But they wasn't on the level of those all-stars on those teams.
You gotta think about it. The all-star game was the Golden State starting lineup minus the center.
Bro.
It was just 3 of them with the Heat.
It was just
hell. We looking at the Suns. If Ayton somehow go off, that's 5 motherfuckers in the All-Star game.
No, bro, it's crazy.
So you not if you somehow win with this Sun team, I'm not gonna the whole point of me is saying this is because we all know how KD feel about being that dude. He wants to be that dude. And I'm not gonna look at you as that dude if you keep making these type of decisions.
He got to get it done eventually, though. That's my last point. He got to win at some point.
Y'all let go to him going to Golden State that defined his legacy. Y'all think that defined his legacy?
Yes,
absolutely. For
absolutely.
Right now,
yeah.
Why you think he went to Brooklyn? C-Dub?
So y'all gonna forget the rookie of the year? Y'all forget his MVP?
He will go down as one nasty motherfuckers to touch a basketball. Don't get it misconstrued. He will probably be the greatest scorer I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
But
why can't stop there though? Why can't stop? Why you gotta get back?
It's because you gotta give context. You finna sit there. If you finna sit there at the end of, let's say, just hypothetically speaking, how many rings he got now? Two. If Giannis win another one, they all in the career at the same time. Who you think as peers they gonna respect more?
Giannis, especially if he win another one with Milwaukee.
But see, I get what you're saying. You don't like comparing it, but that's what people do. That's just what people do.
That's just gonna be the conversation between.
How is it not reasonable?
That's irrational. Just to hold that against
bro.
them.
They already look at the love.
I hope people
look at the love. Right now, would you say that Joker is receiving more love than Kevin Durant after he received his first ring?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, just the story. Why? He was drafted. He was drafted in Denver. He came up in Denver, but every player has their own story in the NBA.
Exactly. So if you know what I'm saying, if Kevin Durant would have won with OKC, it just would have felt different. That's why players had to go, like LeBron had to go back.
And I'm not even saying
Cleveland, and that's what supplanted him to a different type of conversation.
And I don't even care if he go back. I don't even care if he want it. As long as you do it as you did it on yourself, by yourself. You was the main bus driver. And you did it. He could have did it in Boston. All I give a fuck. He could have did it in San Antonio. He could have did it whatever.
Now let's not.
Can I say this? Hold on. Can I say this real quick though? If he would have won in Brooklyn, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Because that's why he went there.
I'll also say this: Golden State deferred to KD. It wasn't.
That's only the best player.
It wasn't like he wasn't the main bus driver. You talking about the unanimous MVP? Was like, here you go, do your thing. That's all I'm saying.
But we can still make the case that Steph was Finals MVP too.
No, I'm saying that the unanimous
don't make me bring up stats.
The unanimous NBA, the only unanimous MVP in the NBA, deferred to KD down the stretch in them finals both times
because he knew better.
He's 6'. He's 7 foot. He can shoot up everybody. That's scheme right there. That's scheme right there. That just makes the most sense. He can get to the mid range and pull.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I was saying.
But this is exactly why I wanted to have this conversation. I knew all of us wasn't going to agree on something, so that's why I wanted to have this conversation. I was gonna. We look deep in, so we gonna go. We got another video with Doc showing his top 10. We're gonna deep into that. That man put no modern players in there.
No.
But we're gonna get it with y'all next time. It's NBA Central. Check in with y'all with another video. Peace.